Hey everyone, this is Paul, and you're listening to episode 9 of the Generation Latino podcast. Guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever time it is. I hope you're having a great time. But, guys, I wanted to ask you today do you sometimes struggle with just hanging in there and, staying positive and honestly staying motivated? Well, in today's episode, we're going to talk about how we can stay positive during rough times, stay motivated, and hanging in there. And so here you have it, episode 9, hang in there. All right, guys. So today's episode, I'm really excited to talk about because it is something that I feel like a lot of people sometimes struggle with staying positive during really, really rough times, staying motivated, and hanging in there. And when I say hanging in there, I mean truly hanging on, like, to life. And it sounds very dramatic, but oftentimes we get into these very dark spaces where we're challenged in ways that we do not know how we're going to overcome them. You know, I'll give you a brief story, and then I'll talk about some things that have been going on in my life and how I've been able to stay motivated and stay positive and just hanging on and hanging in there in the midst of this crazy life and what it throws at us, because life is very unpredictable, and the reality is that life is not fair. And I I truly hate saying that, but it is not fair. And what I've realized is, first of all, understanding that life isn't fair, and how am I going to navigate this crazy life with it being unfair, and then also maybe having anxiety or having, you know, maybe not feeling too well. So I was I went to there's this gentleman at the local, corner store that I go to, roughly about 3 to 4 times a week to get coffee or just, grab snacks or whatnot. So every time I'm in there, he's always very uplifting, and he calls me sir. We talk a little bit and we chat, and just a very sweet, kind soul. And uh, just a couple days ago, I went in and I was getting it was cold night, so I went to get me like a vanilla hot cappuccino, and we were talking, and he was like, "Hi, sir, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, it's going good." And he proceeds to tell me that he's having a rough day, and he usually wears a beanie, and today he wasn't. I was like, "Oh, like you're not wearing your beanie?" He's like, "No, like I cut my hair. I'm kind of going through it." And so I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I hope everything's good." He goes, "No, like I don't have a place to stay. I got kicked out of." He said he got kicked out of his the place he was staying at, and it was just kind of just uh heavy for me to take on. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that," and I told him to stay positive and hang in there. And he was saying that he was going to stay at a hotel for a couple days until he can figure out what he was going to do, but that his friend, one of his really good girlfriends, was gonna he called her his home girl, was gonna allow him to stay at her place on the first. So I was like, well, the first is a couple, it's not too far along. You hang in there, and then that was kind of it. And then I went about my way and I took off, and then today I go to that, gas station, and I get my iced coffee, and one of the workers who works there is like, "Hey," because he knows everyone knows that I talk to this gentleman that comes in, and I don't really know too much about him. We just have a very cordial, friendly banter back and forth, and we talk and whatnot. So, but I don't know him outside of that. So this gentleman who also works at the convenience store sees us talking a lot when we're there, and he was like, "Hey," he mentioned the guy's name. He was like, "Yeah, he's not doing too well." And I said to myself, "Oh, like what's happening?" He goes, "Well, his boyfriend kicked him out. He he called into work, and he's thinking about, committing, suicide. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, that was just a lot for me to take in. I'm like, whoa, I just really went in to get a coffee. And then I kind of talked briefly about him, and I don't have this guy's number, or I don't have this anything about, I don't really know much about him besides me going in there. And I stayed a little after, and I asked more questions, and I was like, let him know to, stay positive, hang in there, all these things. But it really got me to thinking how dark people can get when things get rough. And again, I say this all the time. I'm no professional in the field, but I am someone who has gone through a lot of things and who has had to figure out ways to keep moving forward and keep staying positive and motivated, being up against the wall. And again, it's not easy. It is not easy to do that. It's not easy to really, really figure out how you're going to move forward when you don't have the resources to do so. It's very easy sometimes for people to give advice, and I say this too all the time, when they're on their ivory tower, or they're, on they live in a nice house, or they have a car, or they have a good job, or like, it's so easy to give that type of advice when, first of all, you haven't experienced that type of struggle. First of all, you can't relate, right? Or you haven't even understood a quarter of what someone is truly going through. So I just, for some reason, this gentleman has been on my mind, and I don't know how he's doing. I don't know really much anything besides the information I got. And I plan to go back to the store and check and see if he's there. But that's the only information I have on him. But I say that because if you're out there, if anyone listening out there is really struggling to, let's put this first out there. Staying motivated is not easy. Staying positive is not easy. But the least thing you can do is hang on. Like, hang in there. I would, for me to expect people to stay positive and stay motivated is hard when you're in the ruts of life, and you're in the part of life that's unfair. It's hard to say that. Oh, stay positive, stay motivated. No, all I ask is that you hang in there. You hang in there and allow the goodness to come through. Because I'm telling you right now, I have witnessed a lot of things in my life where I didn't know how I was going to get out of something, how I was going to get through it. But I truly believe in a higher being. And for you, that could be God, that could be the universe, that could be energy, that could be whatever you want it to be. And I tell people, you don't have to believe in something specific, but you can believe in positivity and the energy of good. Because I do believe that good things happen. And I do believe that there is a higher being out there. And when I say hang in there or hang on, I mean that. Like, it may seem like the days are going by so slowly. It may seem like you don't know how you're going to pay a bill or how your financial future looks like. But I truly believe that having a life on this earth is a gift. And what I've also realized is that I have to take the good with the bad. I have to realize that as I'm embracing the good, I have to also embrace the challenges and the obstacles that come my way. And I ask you to do the same thing. Again, I'm coming from a place of, there's been times where I don't know what the next couple of days are going to look like. But all I can do is just take it minute by minute, and sometimes second by second, because everything looks so blurry and uncertain and unpredictable. And for this gentleman, it breaks my heart that he has gone to that space of not wanting to live anymore. And again, it's easy to tell someone to stay positive and, look at the positive affirmations and listen to great music. That's hard. I've been there where like nothing is helping because you're in such a dark space. But the one thing that did help me was just knowing that I had to just keep moving forward. I had to take it second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour. I couldn't think too far ahead. And if this is you out there who's challenging, who's having a rough time with anything, whether it's a breakup, a loss of a job, a loss of a loved one, I mean, it's hard. I've recently been going through some tough things with a lot of my family and friends are going through some heavy stuff right now, and it's taking a toll on me. It's affecting me, and I've had to tell myself to breathe, first of all, to allow myself space to take in what's happening, acknowledge that it's happening, and see what I'm going to do about it. And sometimes it's just baby steps. I can't think about what tomorrow's going to look like, what Friday, Saturday. I can't do that because sometimes it's just too overwhelming for me. And, I ask people and I tell people too, like, recognize your body and what it's telling you. Like, recognize what it's telling you. And your body tells you a lot. I know for me, my body tells me what's enough, what's not enough. And I have to listen to it. I had to actively be listening to it. But guys, if you're out there and you're struggling to hang on, I tell you, and I said this before, as long as you have breath, you can do it. Like, you really have until your last breath on this earth to keep going and keep doing things. Please hang in there. Something wanted me to come on this episode and talk about hanging in there. And whether it helps one person or two, or it doesn't matter to me. I just want you to know that, one, you're not alone in feeling dark and alone and depressed and discouraged. Because what did I say earlier? Life is cruel and extremely unfair. And that's the first thing I had to realize as I was getting older, that life wasn't going to always go as I wanted it to go. But once you realize that, then you can slowly work on being positive, staying motivated. But I'm not going to lie and say, oh, yeah, you're going to just feel motivated right away and positive. No, I mean, you can still want to stay motivated and have negative thoughts come across you, right? So I ask you to please hang in there and allow whatever it is coming your way to just go through, process it, and move forward from it. But again, it pains me that people don't want to be here on earth because of how rough life can be. But I challenge you to figure out how you can make yourself, whether it's therapy, whether it's self-help, whether it's the gym, whether it's meditation. There are so many tools out there to help you. Whether it's a walk, talking to people. I know so many people suppress what they are feeling. Why? Because they don't want to be a burden on anyone, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, but you're not going to be a burden. You're not going to be a burden if you feel like there's no more hope there is hope. I'm telling you, even in my darkest days, I have to hang in there. Even when I don't want to do anything because I'm so defeated and I feel like life is so unfair. And how the hell did I get dealt these cards? Why me? It's tough. It's tough. And I'm here to tell you that I understand and that you too can get through these rough patches. And once you're able to do that, then you can hang in the positivity of life. Hang on to staying motivated. But it comes and goes. I know for me, motivation comes and goes. Sometimes I am like at 100 and I'm like, come on, world, let's fucking go. And there's times where I'm like at a 5 or a 10 and I'm not feeling so motivated. But in my self-consciousness, I know that I have to get up, do it, and go. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to talk about hanging on in episode 9. And if you're out there again and you feel that you cannot do it, I am telling you, you can. Please reach out to someone if you're not feeling okay. I know for me, recently I wasn't feeling too well, and I was mentally not feeling well, and I was physically not feeling well, and I was like, I got to go to the doctor, and I got to figure out what's happening. It turned out I was having like a minor panic attack, an anxiety attack. I was feeling so anxious because of everything that was going around me in my life. But I had to speak up, and I had to say something. I had to put my ego and pride aside because I thought I was fine and dandy. But I also recognized that I was not feeling well. And I too was feeling a little uneasy, unsafe. And I'm so glad I went because now I know what I got to work on and I know what I got to do. And I'm glad I told someone that there was something wrong, that I wasn't feeling well. And you can do the same thing. If you're not feeling well, you can do the same thing. But guys, I want to thank you again for tuning in and stay positive. It's a very rough time right now with what's happening in this world, specifically in this country. And without getting too political and talking about politics, please hang in there. And we have to continue to stay motivated. Do not stay too long in the dark. You have to find some light. And there's a quote where it's, the light's the darkness most fear. I mean, truly think about that. And I know it's easy to say when you're feeling good and the endorphins are running and everything's going fine and dandy, but I'm talking to those people out there who are really, really struggling to stay motivated, to just live another day. You're not alone. I truly believe it gets better. And I truly believe that good will always prevail. And I also believe in a higher being. And I do believe that there is a God out there. Whether you believe or not, at least believe in good. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. And I will see you on the next episode.